Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Elite Real Estate Podcast. So hopefully everybody's on here. We'll see. We're going to be busy here in a minute. But super excited to join you back on another Friday here at 7:30 in the morning in Michigan, if you're on the Eastern Standard Time. And super excited. So I have a very special guest in studio with us today, Miss Natalie Vaughn. How are you? Look, we're going to give you an applause there.
Oh, thank you. Love the excitement.
That's right. That is right. So, Natalie, I'm super excited to have you in studio today. First of all, because, you're awesome.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm excited to be here early, 7:30 in the morning on a rainy Friday morning. It's
I know,
awesome.
right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So you're just like all the other guests that are like 7:30.
Yeah.
Like, really?
Yeah. It just shows we're diligent, right? It just shows we're about business. We're just like taking care of stuff. We're just on top of things.
Yeah.
That's what it shows.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And it's the early bird gets the worm,
That's
right?
That's
and
right.
then we had a short discussion when you first got here this morning about like it's a good thing that I don't have to get ready in the morning.
Yes. I tell you, the male species is so fortunate, because you can just kind of like jump in the shower and show up, and here you go.
Yeah.
And we've got to go through like 5 other steps before we can even like show ourselves to the public.
Yeah. My wife and I had this conversation, and she's we'll be going somewhere, and she's like, "Hey, I got to get ready. Do you want to go in first?" I'm like, "No, you go ahead and get started. I'm going to catch up anyway. So
Right.
Just go ahead."
Doesn't make any difference. Yeah.
No, it doesn't really. Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't really at all.
Because you'll be ready on time anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So super excited to have you here on the show. And so we got some big announcements coming up and some things that we'll get to. But first, just tell me about yourself. Like, give me a little bit of your history, because you're like, I know your background, but these guys need to know your background and kind of what you're about and where you're from and all that kind of good stuff.
So, I tell you, I started off in the financial services industry way back when, and mortgages in 2000. It sounds like some way space number right now. It sounds like way far away.
Right.
But yeah, I started off in mortgages and residential actually. And that was a phenomenal time. That was when back in the day when everybody, was able to just really easily qualify for mortgages. And it was a great time to be a loan officer, very busy. For a while there in my career as a loan officer, I was an underwriter, I was an account executive, and just had a great thing. And then I started my own business, Genesis Financial Services, that we were in business until the crash of 2009, and just doing a great business with mortgages and refinances and purchases. Then it dawned on me to, get my real estate license.
Yeah.
The light bulb came on because I love the industry. First of all, I love the industry itself. It's got so many diverse opportunities that one can go into on so many different levels, and I know what my strengths are, and I know in training and in consulting and in sales, and I love houses, and I love the exciting part about finally getting your client to the closing table. So, I went back and got my license, and here I am. And I literally just joined EXP.
So exciting.
Wow.
Yeah,
what are you going to get?
We'll give you the other applause there. Yeah, we'll give you the applause for sure. Yeah. And it's incredible because like your journey and it's a very similar journey to a lot of people, right? Where you hear either I got into it on the real estate side and I went to the mortgage side, or I got it on the mortgage side and went to the real estate side, and kind of just combine those two things, right?
That's right.
And for you, as an agent, it's one of the things that I've talked about before. But as an agent, what does that mortgage background do for you, for your clients?
So any background is obviously within the same industry is going to benefit your client. I've been very fortunate that when it comes to, because as the agent, we're the person that they look to for advice, for recommendation. Our guidance is imperative to their success, literally. So what I always refer back to is my mortgage foundation, and going into what's most important for them to look at, especially when I'm doing a seminar on first-time home buyers, and the strategy to prepare yourself to purchase a home. That's very important. So you have to know yourself as the authority. You have to recognize that your information, your wisdom, your knowledge when it comes to the financing. I think that I was so elated that I did not come into this industry just as a realtor, because when I saw as a loan officer how much sometimes realtors just really didn't know about the financing part.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so like, oh my gosh, if you just knew all the elements that needed to happen on that back end, where as the realtor, our focus is, hey, this is a great, pretty house, and we're ready to close down and collect a big check. And there's so much it goes, from the beginning to the end.
Yeah.
So I'm just really excited about that. And I still do. I don't do residential mortgages now. I do commercial loans
Okay.
as well, as obviously residential real estate.
Yeah. Yeah. And we'll get into that a little more because I have some more questions about that some people I know will want to know more about that commercial lending stuff too.
Okay.
But so your journey to EXP, like what was the deciding factor? I mean, what was the thing that kind of...
Okay, so I'm just going to tell you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to tell you. You're my sponsor.
Yes.
And I'm excited about that. You're my sponsor. Woo! Let's get some.
We'll get some more applause. Yeah, we'll get some more applause. Yeah.
So I actually looked at several different companies. It's I take into account honestly that people buy people.
Yes.
People buy people. People buy who you are, what you have to offer. They buy your countenance. They buy your energy, your aura, your communication skills. They buy your knowledge. They buy people. Right. And no matter what company you represent, or you're really representing the company. Right.
Right.
Yeah. That's really what that is. So I looked at several different companies. I've only been with, this is actually my fourth firm. Throughout my whole real estate journey.
Yeah.
And I'm not a real estate hopper.
No. You're not.
I'm not a real estate hopper, because some people are hoppers and other things, but I'm not. And I think you have to get in, you got to dig your heels in, you got to stay focused. And you have to take advantage of all the other things that organization has to offer. So when I looked at EXP, from being in a large, like I came from KW, which is where we initially met, and it was a huge company, and I did lots of sales there and around a lot of very successful people. And my last year there, I was the top agent in a 400 person office. I sold 38 houses. I was the top single agent there, and I believe in working. I just kind of put my head down and just make it happen.
Yeah.
And what happened was when I started looking at it, and I've also been with smaller brokerages, where they're a little more boutique, a little more customized, a little more personal. I think the important thing is you have to be around successful people.
Oh man.
That's huge. Your association is everything.
Yeah.
And I met some really successful people in EXP. When I was first introduced to the opportunity a few years ago, an agent said, "Hey, have you heard about EXP?" And I said, "Well, and he tried to explain it to me. But then he didn't communicate it very effectively.
Sure.
So it wasn't
It happens a lot.
It happens. It happens. It happens.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah. I wasn't super excited about how he communicated, but I was very excited about when I got the opportunity to hear Kirk Showell do the presentation. And I saw it from a very different perspective. I saw where real estate is going in the future. I saw that, being in, I do business in multiple states. And so, being an iCloud company made a big difference, being with one brokerage firm so that I could work in Florida or Georgia or wherever really makes a difference. And I also recognize that long-term, I see the company really expanding and really growing. And a lot of the smaller boutiques, you can't take ownership as you can with EXP.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what got my attention. I'm kind of one of those chicks that like to own stuff,
You're a boss lady. That's what it is. Yeah. They like to own stuff and do stuff.
But in a very, very soft, subtle, spirited way. Yeah. But I do. And it's important. I think the ownership of the company is really what got my attention.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and you brought it up, but you're licensed in Michigan and you're licensed in Florida and Georgia. Yeah. And Ohio.
The reciprocity thing is what's up. Okay. You just get online and you figure out what states have reciprocity and you figure it out. That's what's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's amazing to me. That was one of the things that when you and I have been talking about this for a while, but how we can become business partners. Right.
That's right.
And now expanding to Georgia and down in Atlanta, and we're going to be working on some EXP Elite stuff down in Atlanta.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm on my way down there here in just a little bit, and I'm so excited to, we're going to be developing a team. I had a team here in Michigan, and I'm going to be developing a team there in Georgia, and I already got some people that are ready to go.
I love it. Yeah, and the thing is, like, you hit the ground running, so you're again, it's one of the things that I really enjoy about having conversations with you and talking with you and being around you is you're a person of action, right? There's not like this. It's not like this. Hey, let's plan this thing out. It's you and I are a lot alike, where it's like, let's do this, and then we'll figure out as we're build the plane as we're flying it.
That's right. That's exactly right. Let's put the pieces together in the air.
Yeah. Which has led to a lot of success for you, and I think that's one of the things that, like, success leaves clues, right? And as agents that are listening to us today, I think one of the biggest things that that you provide and can give away and give to these agents is, like, how did you kind of mentally get to that point where it was like, I just take action? Has it always been that way, or is that something you kind of got better at, or
Well, I can say this, that most of my adult career has been in some form or fashion of sales. Okay.
Yeah.
And personal development is really what I coach on. That's my thing. And you have to go to the next level and the next level and the next level. You have to be a different person in your mindset. It's a mindset shift. And, you can't blame anyone's success or non-success on your own non-action.
Oh, I love that. Say that again.
So you can't blame your success or non-success on your own non-action, on your own inability to act, your own inability to do something. And so, I've always recognized that, if you're going to try with 100%, give it everything you got. If you fall off a cliff and, you don't fly, okay, you've at least tried.
Oh, man.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
You've tried. You got to just push. You just got to say, I'm going to do it. And then if it doesn't work, and it's okay, it's okay to, okay, that didn't work, give yourself a time block of 6 months, 3 months, a year, 2 years, whatever it is. It's just not working. We're revising and trying to make the airplane fly, whatever we need to adjust.
Yeah.
And then we're going into a whole nother level now of, okay, we're really making it work. And these are the new components.
Yeah.
You stay around, number one, people that have the right mindset, the right energy.
Yep.
That's got to be your foundation. Like these phone calls at 7:30 in the morning are phenomenal. You get great wisdom, energy. You get great advice on what to do with the cases. It's really important. The next thing of just staying focused. This is not a business of I'm going to make $10,000 and I'm going to go golfing. I'm going to go hiking. I'm going to go play the pool at the beach and then come back and try to make another $10,000 this month. This is about staying focused, and really respecting your career as a business.
Yeah.
Yeah. Respecting it.
I love that so much. And there is like so many foundational principles in there of what you're saying. And it's literally just like time blocking and doing these things the right way and staying consistent and just building over time and not worrying about making a mistake, right? We've all made mistakes.
That's right.
And you have that coaching mindset, like that I do, like that so many guys on this and ladies on this call that we do too, of, how can I help steer people around the mistakes that I made?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's one of the things I think we probably lack in this industry. Like we have a ton of coaches in the industry, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a ton of coaches that are like FSBOs and expireds and my scripts are better and yada, yada, yada. Right. And dial more, which everybody on here is cringing right now about dialing more, but no, it's the consistency part and staying true to who you are and the importance of that. Now for you've been in real estate for a while. Where do you see now this NAR stuff, this new scary NAR stuff? Like how do you think agents will adapt to that?
So I think that with NAR, you just have to understand that everything changes, and you have to be grown up enough and a great communicator.
Yeah.
Right. And I did my first listing explaining that to clients yesterday.
Okay.
And as I went through that to really explain, the buyer, the seller, and who's paying the commission, They were a little confused.
Sure.
And I just broke it down super simple. You don't have to pay it. It's not your responsibility, but your house will be shown more if you agree to pay it.
I love it.
And we did a little pause and they got it.
Yeah.
They got it. And they said, sure, we'll pay it. Anyway, we'll just build it into the price. And it was very simple. So you just do it and you go on and you act as if it just is part of the process. It's nothing new. It's just part of the new process.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one thing I learned about sales, Jim, and I'll tell you years ago. So I worked for a training company years ago, and literally we did leadership management training and sales training and customer service. And the fun thing about sales, especially if you're doing it on the phone, they don't know you. They can't see you.
Oh man, I love this. I love this where it's going.
Yeah, they can't see you. So you don't have to be afraid to talk to them.
Right.
Right. You know, you're just a voice on the phone. What you have to cultivate is your tonality, how you sound and how you come across, you know, your actual, not just your vocabulary and the words you're using, but really the actual, you know, your confidence is what they're sensing, right? They're really sensing your confidence.
Yeah.
And if you just kind of put on your, you know, this is a bit of an act, you know, it's a bit of an act.
Yeah.
You put on your sales hat, you put on your sales act, and you come in as your, you know, Beyonce, what is it, her name, Sasha Fierce or something, you know,
like
you
that.
kind of go to your whole, you know, switch out your whole, like, I'm a badass, right? You know, I'm doing this thing. And you get on the phone and you dial, and it's okay if it doesn't work for you. It's okay if you go through 5 calls and it just, you know, they hang up the phone or what, because it's just, they're not rejecting you.
Right.
That's the first thing in sales. You're not being rejected personally because it's not personal. You're just a voice on the other end of the line. That's it. I had a call yesterday from, everybody knows who Grant Cardone is, right?
Yes. Yep.
So
I think.
You know, tell them who Grant Cardone is.
Yeah, I mean, Grant. I think everybody here probably knows who Grant Cardone is because Elena Cardone, his wife, is an EXP agent.
Yes.
Yeah. So Grant, if you guys haven't taken Grant's 10x coaching or anything like that, look it up. And his coaching is phenomenal. And he's the undercover billionaire. He's one of the.
That's right.
One of the 3, I think, now that are undercover billionaires.
Yes. Yeah. That's where I connected with Grant and that watching that, you know, on Discovery Channel, undercover billionaire. Well, last year, I went to Elena Cardone's, you know, 10X ladies, and I was going to go. It's actually this weekend happening today. Today's the first day in Florida, and I thought to be here with you instead. Okay.
Wow, you chose me over Elena Cardone. I don't know if that's a good business decision or not, but I appreciate it.
I thought to be here with you instead. But last year I was there, and of course they are the massive sales team like you have never believed, and so. I get these phone calls yesterday. Are you coming? We see you were here last year. Are you coming? Can you get here? You know, and they're offering different things. And they were so high. Honestly, they were pretty high pressured. Okay. They were pretty high pressured. You know, they were just, I'm driving on the freeway. Pull over. Let's just take your credit card. You know, I mean, they were just pull over off the freeway and let's take your credit card. They were that aggressive. And I said, I'm very interested. If you'll stop sounding so salesy, I'm going to buy.
That's the amazing part, right?
Yeah. I just told them, if you stop sounding so salesy, and they stopped for a second and like, oh, okay, sure. All right. When you get settled, you know, give me a call back. So I think you just have to be aware of what you sound like. You got to be aware of like how you come across, you know, sound like you care. You're concerned.
That's the amazing part, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Can you sound like you care?
Yeah.
Can you sound like you're concerned?
Yep.
You know, you can sound like that with strangers.
Yeah. And that's the amazing part about our business too, right? I just was talking to some agents this week about kind of like this exact thing. We were talking about doing some circle prospecting around some just listeds and just solds. And, you know, the first thing is like, well, the amazing part to me sometimes too is agents would rather call strangers than they would rather call their sphere, which is shocking to me sometimes. Because I'm like, don't you like those people that are in your sphere? If not, you got the wrong people.
Right.
But to your point, like they don't know who you are. There is no personal connection to this thing.
That's right.
Not yet.
No.
Right. Not yet.
Right.
And when you just are, you know, one thing that Kurt and I say all the time on these calls every morning and wherever else, but as we say, stop selling and start helping.
Yes.
And when you start to do that and you start to help people, you'll see your business like 10x, like Grant Cardone.
10x, yeah, I love it. I'm gonna be back there next year, but for that event. But That's exactly it. You got to sound like you care, sound like you're concerned. What's the big picture? Where are you going with this? Why are you selling your house? Let's get to the details of it, because now you've got a person on the other end of the line that actually, they'll usually tell you, they want to tell
Sure.
you your big, let me see the big picture so I can help you reach your goal. Let me see the big picture of where you want to go. That's really a big portion of it. Sounding as if you're sincerely concerned, because we are. And I want to keep my clients for life.
Sure. Absolutely.
I want them to refer me to lots of folks. I want them to call me 5 years from now. I want them to, I told my clients yesterday, I says, listen, I have been doing this for a long time. And, most of my clients, I've had them for life. I'm your agent for life.
I love that.
I'm your agent for life.
Yeah.
And so tell me your story. What do you want to do once you sell your house? Tell me the big picture. And I shared, when you're moving to Nashville, I'm going to make sure that I connect you with a great referral. I've got a great company I'm working with, and I'm going to connect you with a great agent that's going to take care of you, like I'm going to take care of you here.
Yeah.
And just those words of I'm going to take care of you. Oh my gosh. They were like, oh, sure. Well, this is how we met, and this is what we did. And this is what, I heard 15 minutes of their love story of how they met in this house. And it was amazing. It was amazing.
And that's good. And let me ask you, so next part of this, right, is asking that question of like, you're asking these questions and let me take care of you, right, is so different, just to play on words.
Mm-hmm.
But what has it done? So your business, you get so much repeat business,
mm-hmm.
right? Like you get a ton of referral
mm-hmm.
business,
mm-hmm.
and not only from clients, but from agents.
I mean, love that. Yeah.
I mean, so many agents, and
Yeah.
you're connected in so many states. It's one of the things that is amazing about you and your business. How do you, what's the secret to those, to getting those referrals and keeping those relationships?
So I'm a big networker. I really like people. I really like to go to different associations. I like to go to even different states. They have the RIA meetings. I'll show up. I'll go, like, in Illinois or in Ohio, they have the great meetings of investors. You just meet people. And when you kind of connect with a good agent that you feel like they're doing good business, and you connect with them like, hey, let's continue, because I may have a referral for you down the road. Got a referral for you from, down the road. I've got some clients that are moving to Texas or to Nashville or Oklahoma. So people, I want to do business with other people that I feel are similar to me, that are going to treat my clients great, that are going to take care of them, that they're going to call me back and say, great, thanks so much for referring me to Julie, because that's important. That's important to me as well.
Yeah. And being able to keep up with that person, because then the reciprocity, right?
The reciprocity.
Now, when they have with someone, they're going to reach out to you, and wherever state you're in at the moment.
Back and forth. That's right. Yeah. Back and forth. Because it's a very big deal. And, making sure that you keep everybody in your CRM, making sure that you're getting that warm touch once a month, every couple months, wherever they fall in that category. And knowing that you're always just circling around. And one thing that you taught at when you were doing your coaching at KW, you were talking about keeping just warm phone calls. Warm phone calls to your sphere once a month, and just to say hello. Oh, that's all right. I do have somebody that's selling their house, because you never know. Everybody's always talking real estate. You may or may not be in the conversation, and it's your job to make sure that you're top of the mind.
Yep. And I was just at an event yesterday with Kim Ajmi, and that was one thing she brought up. Like, everybody knows 13 real estate agents, right? Like, everybody,
that's right.
Everybody knows a realtor, right? Yeah. Like, everybody's like, oh, my cousin's a realtor, right?
Yes.
Have they sold anything? I don't know. I just know they're a realtor, right?
Yeah, right.
And there's a lot of part-time and all those other things that are into it too. But I think, you're right. Like, it's just keeping up with that sphere. Again, like, staying top of mind. It's one thing Gary Keller teaches all the time, is staying top of mind. How do I stay top of mind? And it's through, whether it's your CRM or whether it's just you calling people and staying top of mind with real estate. And I think that with your networking too, like the one of the things that, and I want a lot of agents to understand this part, like your networking piece of just showing up, right? Because a lot of agents will say, well, I don't want to dial. I don't want to, I don't want to prospect. I don't want to, like, but you do that, but you do also do networking,
Mhm.
and it's just showing up, right? And just having conversations with people.
Yeah. So, I've been doing the snowboard thing in Florida for a year now.
Yeah.
And what's amazing is that at first when I went, I didn't see a lot of EXP signs, but I did see someone had the wraparound on their car.
Oh, yeah,
The
yeah.
EXP thing on the car. And I was like, oh, wait, I'm like beeping them down and waving. And they're like, who is this person? What do they want? They're probably thinking it's who knows. But I saw some signs out, and over a year, I started to see more EXP, more EXP, more EXP. So it grows because we talk about it.
Sure.
That's how EXP grows.
Man, you just like nailed that right there. It grows because we talk about it.
Grows because we talk about it. Yeah. and because I think it's great and I'm going to share it with someone, and all of it just grows naturally. It's like, the sunflower seed that just is spread in the wind, and it just continues to plant the seed. And so I saw these great signs. It was an open house. And I said, that's an EXP agent. I'm going to go in there. So I circled around, went in, made great friends with this wonderful woman in Boynton Beach, Kelly. And she's a friend of mine, and we talk periodically. And the next week she invited me to a networking meeting at Cross Country Mortgage there.
Okay.
And I went and I met 6 or 7 other agents from just that experience. So I went to her open house. She invited me to a networking meeting. I met 6 or 7 other agents. It was just the process. And those, 3 or 4 of those, we connected, made great connections. And that's how it is. You've got to step out of your comfort zone.
100%. And again, it's really, and again, that kind of goes back to agents will tell me, oh, I'm better face to face. Well, go get face to face then, right?
Right. Yeah.
Just go get face to face.
Right. That's right.
And but the key to this whole thing too is you network a lot and you go to events and you walk in the door and you do your thing. What's your follow-up process like after that? Like, so you were in Florida, you met this EXP person.
Mm-hmm.
What was the next piece of that? Like,
so, I shot her an email, text her, we connected again for lunch. I mean, she was a great person. She's like, oh, great, you're here now. Let's communicate. I mean, she had 4 or 5 people on her team, and we talked about that, and she's doing big business there. And it was just a really great, my follow-up is really just staying connected. That's got to be intentional as well.
yeah.
And I think that, the time blocking piece has got to be a time block for everything. It's got to be a time block for everything. And that is your time block for your follow-up calls, your time block for your prospecting, your time block for your actual, just let me follow up for a half an hour once a week with just people that I've met in my network, my new contacts, my new warm fuzzies. Let me just make a quick text, just texting is huge.
Yeah, because I mean, again, we're going with these millennials, right?
Yeah.
But they're much better at texting than we are.
Yeah.
But we can meet them in the middle.
Right. That's right.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
I'm a hugger and a phone call guy. I'm not necessarily a texter, but I do text a lot, right? So it's just become part of the habit now.
Right. The texting is huge because you get the little. I got a text this morning at like 6:15. Oh, call me. It's and I'm like, who is this? So I'll call you at 9.
Yeah.
Can't be that important right now at 6:15. So there's a lot of there's lots of different ways now. We are so graciously blessed by having so many ways to communicate.
Yes.
And I say the texting is awesome because I don't have it's a time saver. I don't have to. So I can spend 20 minutes doing texts.
Yeah.
And I just block out that time. I'm a great person that I keep a lot of things on my calendar on my phone, but I really keep a lot of things just because I need it out of my head and on something, either in my computer or I'm old school girl. I have an actual day timer.
Ooh, I love it.
Yeah, I have an actual day timer that I can look at my month and I can see what's going on because I travel a lot. So I have to actually see what's happening. And I need to know this is what's happening today, this weekend. Here I'm here. This is what I'm doing. And it really just takes the pressure off of I can't remember or I forgot.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is I love you. And the funny thing is like we'll have a conversation and you were just in the office a couple weeks ago.
Yes. Yeah.
And then the next day I called you. You're like, I'm in Ohio. I'm like, what? What? How'd that happen?
Right.
You're like, I just drove down, and like that's the amazing part. Is like you're just like, and again, you just take action.
I do.
Yeah.
I definitely take action. I also believe that we're also in an industry. If you strategize right, and it's all about strategy, right?
Yeah.
If you strategize properly, you can take advantage of life.
Oh man. Yeah.
Take advantage of life.
Yeah.
I worked in as a loan officer just with my head down for a long time with my own company, and we had 6 loan officers, and I was like 24/7 all the time busy. And once I got out of that scenario, I decided I was going to live. And so, this business enables us to also go on vacation, to have dinner with friends, take an early day off if you need to, make up the difference, keep your schedule focused on what you're doing. And if it's a 4-day work week, that's how you want to run your business. Work those 4 days like they're 9 days. Just
Yeah.
work them till the juice is gone.
I hope everybody's listening to that part because it's possible.
Yeah.
Right. It's possible. It's one of the things Austin Chevron teaches a lot in his coaching is the same thing. Like, how do I get my life back?
Mhm.
But I say the same thing. The more you schedule,
Mhm.
the more time you actually get back.
That's right. That's right.
Because I know from 10 to 11 today what I have to do, which frees me up from 4 to 5.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like I can say that I'm going to do these things at this time, and therefore then when it comes to 5 o'clock, I'm not worried about it anymore.
Yeah.
I've done all I can do for today.
Right.
Now, does something pop up every once in a while? For sure. Right. You're always going to have the business we're in. You're going to have those things that just like, hey, there's no key in the lockbox. You know what I mean? Like
Right,
there's
right.
always going to be those things.
That's
right.
That's right.
But to your point, that's more you schedule and the more you stay diligent with that,
Mhm.
the more time you actually get back.
You really do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you spend time here in Florida, in Atlanta, right? In Ohio.
And in Ohio.
Yeah.
Those are my spots right now.
Yeah.
Those are my spots right
And
now.
I like how you say right now.
Yeah.
Because I know where you're
Because it could change.
Yeah.
It could change. It could like expand. I'm in expansion right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where my mindset is in expansion. Yeah. Because there's just so many possibilities. I decided also that I wanted to grow my downline, grow my team. So I just got in my phone. I know people casually that are other realtors with other companies. And I said, every single week, I'm going to make it my business to do my best to have a couple people on that call with Kirk.
Yeah.
And I had a colleague from California. She was on. She listened. She's like, "Hey, great! This is a phenomenal opportunity." That was 2 weeks ago. Yesterday, I had someone on the call. Have people on those calls because Kirk is like he mastered that thing. I'm telling you, I could listen to him all again and again and again. He's got that. He's got the EXP down.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? Because his passion for what he believes in.
Yes.
Right. He truly believes in it, and he knows what the capabilities of it are.
Yeah.
So that just comes through. You know what I mean?
That's right.
It like oozes out of him. Like that's just who he is.
Right.
That's the amazing part about Kurt to a lot of people is like he is this person, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, how does he have so much energy, and how is he this, and how is he that? And it's like because he believes in it.
Yeah.
And if he didn't, I don't know if that would come through the same way. But he truly believes in it. And once he's, Kurt's that guy, like once he believes in it or he believes in you, right? He's done the same thing for his clients. He's done the same thing for the agents in his circle.
Yes.
Is he's going to pour into you.
Right.
And give a lot of himself. That's why we always like protect Kurt.
He should be protected. He should be protected. It's amazing. And clearly he doesn't have to do that. He does not have to do that.
No.
But he's very passionate. He explains the company very well, all the benefits. He really makes it personal. He allows people to interact with him. He pulls them in. It's a relationship, and it's very my guy yesterday, he's like, sure, yeah, let's do it. Let's get on here. So I think it's really important, like I said, to surround yourself, to look at your business. Where do you want to go? Where do you see yourself in 3 years? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Because everything is going to happen in every industry.
Yep.
Everything changes all the time.
All the time.
And you just have to recognize we're in an industry, we have to communicate to our clients effectively about the changes. We can do it, you just rehearse it, and then you just get put on your show hat and you show up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
how you do it.
And I think you're right, like with the changes and all the things that we talk about in industry. I think it's I'm meeting with some loan officers later on today, because they're trying to figure out how to bring some value to realtors about these NAR changes,
Mhm.
right? And my explanation to them is like, remember guys when the TRID laws came in and everybody panicked in the mortgage side? It's the same thing that's happening on the real estate side now. Now you younger guys that don't know that what happened with the TRID laws and all the other things that shock the mortgage industry.
Oh my gosh.
But the mortgage people that have been in mortgages for a long time understand, or should now understand, what realtors are going through with these NAR changes. And I was with Nick Coppola, our state broker, yesterday, and he said the same thing. We have to be more fluid with this, because these changes that are going into effect tomorrow may change again, which is crazy. Because EXP is now on, like, I think iteration 2.5 of their documents. You know what I mean? Like they've updated the documents. Some of the new documents are to keep us out of future litigation. So that's really where we're at as an industry too. We're trying to stay out of future litigation and stay away from lawsuits, because nobody likes to get lost. Nobody likes to get sued. So those changes that are coming along, but again, it kind of goes back to just fundamentals, right? And just being really good at sales, talking to people, being honest and true and giving to people. And I think that is what is going to keep everybody moving in this industry.
That's right. That's right. I think if you make it a big deal, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
If you make it a small deal, it can be a small deal. If you just integrate it into your communication with your client without making it a big deal, it can be an easier part of the process.
Yeah.
Yeah. It can be a much easier part of the process.
Yeah.
And that just comes with you being able to understand them yourself and then rehearsing it. I'm a big thing at rehearsing it, doing the scripts and doing them with friends and doing them and practicing that confidence level of, whatever you need to say and the wording, Yeah. And once you say it, you just continue on and you move past it and continue down the road.
I love it. And we've been talking about real estate and stuff a lot. Well, I really want to hit on you and your. So you used to work with Les Brown.
Oh my gosh!
Which, I mean, a lot of if you guys don't know who Les Brown is, look him up as soon as we're done here. But Natalie used to work with Les Brown and did some things. So your sales career started back then, right?
Yes.
Like so this was only like 5 years ago, right?
This is like a longer time ago than that. This is like a really long time ago. Yeah.
But you started when you were really young.
Yeah, I did. I was like 5. Yeah, for sure. No doubt about it.
But tell me about that. Like, how was that? Because that was during college, right? Or
absolutely.
During college. And so how was that experience? Like, and what did that do for you?
So I was telling someone about that experience the other day about Les Brown.
Okay.
Because he's like phenomenal.
Yes.
He's phenomenal, on stage, but he's the same person like we're talking. Les Brown is like really energy, really, and really he's an action. He's an action guy. He the first time I saw him in person, he told me, he says, I don't deal with people that don't take action.
I love that.
He just like, I don't
I just
like
don't
get off my road, get off my street, out of my car, whatever. He's like, I don't deal with people that don't take action, because that can weigh you down.
Yes.
And hold you down at every level. So I was sharing with someone, I said, so in college, I was the marketing director for Larry Wingate. And Larry Wingate, who is a phenomenal professional public speaker, he is, and you can look it up now. You can Google Larry Wingate. He is on the bestsellers list, and his books are things like You Got Us for Success. And he's a kind of a dry humor type person. Okay. And he just talks about the things that you got to do for success. And one of the things he says, you got to work and you got to take it seriously, and he's phenomenal. And during my time with that experience at college, Larry Wingate, we were part of the National Speakers Association. And I would tell him, I would say to my boss, Larry Wingate, I was the marketing director for WIN Seminars. I would say, Larry, I'm going to work with Les Brown. I'm going to meet Les Brown. I'm going to talk to Les Brown. I'm going to, really connect with Les Brown, and I'm just saying this as a young woman, just in excitement, just in hope, just in honestly, and just in faith. Cause I'm just like, I'm hearing his tapes. I'm listening to motivational personal development tapes every day. It's part of my job. I'm listening to these tapes, Well, the one thing I'll say too, during that experience, we, within the company, we had a challenge. We had a challenge, Jim, that you had to read a book a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of reading.
It's a lot of reading.
Yeah.
I mean, now you can listen to a book.
Right.
You can listen, which is, I could do it all day now. But you had to, so 20 minutes, actually a half an hour a day will get you through 300 pages.
Wow. So there it is. There's your tip for the day.
Yeah.
30 minutes a day will get you through 300 pages.
Easily. Average reader.
Yeah.
Okay. Average reader, 300 pages, a half an hour. Anybody can do that.
Yeah.
Anybody can do that. So, in our meetings, we would read a book a week and we talk about it. It was kind of a informal book club, if you would. And it was part of the personal development because you got to have their mindset. It's your mindset.
Yep.
So, I listened to something that said you can have what you say, right? So you say positive things, you speak positive, you get around positive people and you speak the right thing. So I'm confessing, I'm going to meet Les Brown. I go to the National Speakers Association and Les Brown was not there. And I was disappointed and he was not there. And this is my chance to meet Les Brown. And one of his business colleagues was there. And I told his business colleague, his name is Willie Jolly, who actually has a channel on Sirius XM now, motivational channel. And, he's an author as well. And so I told him, I said, man, I came, I wanted to meet Les Brown and he's not here. And I thought that was my chance to meet Les Brown.
Sure.
So I go back to work the next week, right? We get back from the National Speakers Association convention. I walk in this morning. Somehow I'm early. I get in early. I'm hardly ever early. I get there early. I get up. The phone rings and I answer the phone. And the other voice on the end says, is this Natalie Vaughn? And I said, is this Les Brown? And that's how I met Les Brown.
Wow.
I was floored.
Yeah.
I was floored. His colleague had told him about me and gave him the number and he called the office and I answered the phone. And in that, I look at that as a power of faith, power of confession.
Absolutely.
And it was amazing, and that's how we initially met. And I've got his number in my phone right now. And it's amazing. But I look at that and I say, if we apply that to our business, how powerful will we be?
Yeah.
Just the power of confession. Instead of saying the wrong thing, say the right thing.
Yeah.
Instead of saying it's not working for me and I don't know, listen, maybe not today, but change what you're thinking, change what you're saying, and you're going to have a different outcome because what you say is what you're going to see. That's just a natural principle.
I love that so much. So this goes back to my t-shirt thing. Like I just want to make a bunch of t-shirts.
A bunch of t-shirts.
Yeah. So that was what you say is what you'll see. And just make a t-shirt.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
What you say is what you're going to see. You got to say the right thing. If whatever you're going to, your finances, your business, your downline, all of that, what you want to see in your company. My vision, the reason I kind of pick out different places, I said, in my life, because I want to do business with great people.
Yeah.
Right. I want to connect with great folks. I want to be in that Elena Cardone circle where, you've got to, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That conference last year just lit me on fire, and it's a big deal to be in that circle and to get in the room, general bottom line, admission is $5.
Right.
Okay. If you want to sit up front, it's $2,000. It's a big deal.
It's a big deal to get that close.
It is. I just billionaire status, I want to get real close there. And it's amazing. And I says, once again, you got to pay the price to get in the room with the right people. You got to pay the price to listen to the information. You got to make the decision in your own mindset shift of who do I want to become to get all of the things that I desire? Who do I want to become? And what is it going to take for me, to get what I want? Because if it hasn't been working in the past, that was the past. You can change. It's all about your thinking. It's all about your association, your positive confession, our coaching. Call us. We'll do a coaching session and, help change your mind. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, once you say it, you see it. Yeah. Right. And I think that is, and it's taking action. But sometimes too, we all believe in taking action, but sometimes it takes a little bit longer than we'd like it to.
Mhm.
Right? There's like we got in the room, we shook the hands, we kissed the babies, we did all the right things,
Mhm.
and the hard part I think for some people, and me too, right? It's that action doesn't take place right away, right? Like it's not like I take action and I do the thing and I do all the right things.
Mhm.
Then it's like, well, now what do I do? Like, right now, what do I do? Well, not then it becomes and it becomes the follow up, it becomes the nurture, it becomes the things, and sometimes it just takes a little bit of time, a little bit longer than you think it might. We want things to happen right away because
Mhm.
that's the society we live in right
That's
now.
right. That's right.
Right? We have a phone that I can push a button. I bought something the other day and it was delivered. I didn't realize it was delivered. It came the same day. And I was like, it was
It's
just
right
it was
here.
sitting out in the office when I was like, what? How did that happen? I was like, this is crazy. I didn't hear anybody come in. You know what I mean?
It's
I was like,
Amazon's next door.
yeah, I
It
was
just
like,
shows
what
up.
happened? But yeah, because we live in that society. So,
Right.
but then the principle that we know is true
Mhm.
is like once you start this networking process and you start to meet these people and you have these conversations,
Mhm.
it doesn't always necessarily manifest into something the next day.
Right.
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 That's where we have to kind of like relax a little bit.
Yeah.
And say, well, darn it, nothing's happening right now. Nothing's happening right now. Well, it is.
Mhm.
It just takes a little while for it to work. Right.
So that is okay. I'm going to go here on you.
I love it.
Seed time and harvest. Okay. The seed, you got to know that everything you plant is a seed of some sort, right?
Yes.
Your seed, there's got to be time. There's got to be time in between where there's a time to just allow it to develop underneath the earth, right? What do you plant in a garden that grows tomorrow? It's not like Wendy's. You're at the
Right.
drive-through and it just shows up. There's a time to plant that seed. There's a time of actual nourishing, and there's a time that it shows up above ground. And that in real estate, one of the analogies that I had a client that I showed a house to. I was very emotionally invested. And she ended up not buying a house. And I was very frustrated because I'd spent a lot of energy, early mornings, late nights showing her houses. And we all know the kind of physical and emotional energy that takes.
Right.
When you're showing houses, it's just a lot. And especially if your client's emotional, somehow you get involved with that and you're involved as well. Right. So it was a lot involved. And at the end of that, I was just exhausted from her and I was mad at her. And I was like, why did I even go through all this? And how did I get so involved with this? And I can't believe this. And I didn't even get a check from this. And and I said, I'm just going to pull away. I'm not going to get frustrated. I'm not going to, have a bad relationship. I'm just going to let it go. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
And I just kind of let it go. And 3 months later, she called me. She said, listen, I've got 3, referrals for you. And she gave me the names. One turned out to be a nothing. One turned out to be, I'm still working with them. The other turned out to be a $15,000 commission.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
And so I looked at that and I said, if I would have been negative with that seed of, not giving my best to her, then that the harvest from that would have never shown up. And I think we have to understand that we have to, and this is definitely a maturing state of not getting emotional or of personally frustrated, of staying professional, of staying, it's all good no matter what.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's all good no matter what.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a real mindset shift.
Yeah.
Because I had to really pull away and then I'm still reaping. She still sends me, referrals. And I thought, wow, if I would have been upset, that would have turned out completely different.
Yeah.
So we have to understand that, we as professionals have to come through and understand that seed, that time, and there is a harvest.
And I love that because it ties back into what you said before with like nurturing relationships.
Yes.
Right. And again, not being upset. And again, it's not personal. It is business. It's business. And at the end of the day, like she just changed her mind at some point. Right.
Yes, that's right.
And again, it's not for me to be upset about it. Can I be frustrated? Yes. Like, can I go home and say to my wife, like this person, you know what I mean?
Right,
or have somebody in the office that I can complain about this person. Yes. And I could get that out. So I have a place to vent. Like I need to vent and get this out.
That's right.
But at the same point, when I'm in the room with them, I don't have to be that person that's like I'm upset because they didn't buy something, right? But at the end of the day, they didn't buy something because they didn't want it, right? Like there was something, a reason that stopped them from buying whatever it was. So I can't let that affect me. And I've heard this over time and for a bunch of different people. 10% is about the things that happen to you, and 90% of it is how you react.
That's right.
And you can react different ways. You can react, emotionally. That's where emotional intelligence comes in so heavily.
Yes.
Especially with what we do.
Oh my gosh.
Because just like you said, I can emotionally be like, lady, listen, I drove 74 times to meet you at a house. You know what I mean? I unlocked 100 houses and now you don't want to buy something. Now you change your mind. Like I can be frustrated about that.
Absolutely.
But emotionally to her, I can't, because now you are like, now you're pulling this thing back. Right. Now you've reaped it. So look at Al says, bam, it grows because you talk about it. So talk about you being a great professional. A great professional realtor. And then Al, he repeated what we said too. Once you say it, you see it. And it's so true. It's so true. Like how these things come into fruition.
Yeah.
And it's like speaking it into existence, right? Like speaking it into existence, manifesting things.
That's right.
And the more you talk about it, it's one of the things Lisa really hits on Wednesdays, is that idea of like manifesting things, your gratitude, right? And being grateful for what you have currently.
Right. Yes.
And being generally who that person you are, and being that person, because that's what comes back. Right. That's the amazing part, is that's what comes back. Yeah. That's what comes back. It comes back in tens.
It's hard to be, you really have to also, it's a mindset shift on being grateful. Right.
Oh man. Yeah.
Being grateful is very intentional. Being grateful is very deliberate. Because most of us are selfish. Right. The opposite of grateful is just, it's about me and me and what I want and when I want it and how it should be for me.
Yeah.
And it's not about being, I'm so thankful for what I currently have. I'm so thankful for the existence of my life right now. I'm so thankful that I have, friends in different locations and I can connect with and do business with, and we have fun and we're making money and it's all good. I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful for my family. I'm grateful for those basic things, because naturally that comes across in your countenance, in your posture, and you get you have a very different, when you start talking to your clients, especially on the phone, because they can't see you. Right. They don't know how fabulous you are in person, but they can hear you. And so when they hear you, they have to hear that gratefulness. And how can I help you? We're going to make sure we take care of you. Absolutely. What's the big picture in your life? Where do you want to go from here? They got to hear your concern. And part of that is you being grateful. Your countenance comes off quite differently. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's such good stuff. And it's so true. And again, it's manifesting these things that can be positive or negative in your life. We've talked about this before on the other podcast about, life is like a railroad track, right? Life is like you're on a railroad, and everything negative is on the left and everything positive is on the right. And you have a choice every day to focus on either the left or the right. Right. And so if I, in one of the things that really has resonated with me is when you think about the best day of your life, right? The absolute greatest day of your life, whether that's like you getting married or whatever the best day of your life ever was, something bad happened that day.
Yeah.
But you just didn't focus on it because you were so focused on the good.
Yeah.
That you didn't focus on that. And even on the worst day of your life, the absolute worst day, something good happened that day.
That's right.
You just don't remember what it was.
That's right.
Because you were so focused on the negative. And we have a choice every day to wake up and make that decision and say, I'm going to focus on the good, or I'm going to focus on being miserable.
Yeah.
And once you set yourself into that, like I always, my joke is always like, even with my kids is like, you woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Well, take your ass back to bed and go turn over and wake up on the right side, because I'm not dealing with it today. Right. You know what I mean? I am not dealing with it today.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. It goes back to like the law of expectancy.
Yes.
The law of expectancy is I'm expecting this to go well. I'm expecting good things to happen. I'm expecting these people to like me when I pick up the phone. I'm expecting a positive outcome no matter what. You can't, you know, I something happened the other day and I was thinking, I said, it's kind of like this walk of life is almost like the faith journey of, when you go to the circus and the guy's on the, what is it, the trapeze where he's holding on the bar and he's swinging in the air. And then there's a level of, he's hanging on to one bar. And then there's a level in between that there's his hands are on absolutely nothing. There's just a free fall opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I call it. It's a free fall opportunity. So if he at any point in time looks to the left or the right, or God forbid down, he's going down, right? He's got to keep his eye so focused on that next bar. I'm leaving one bar and I'm going to the next bar. And this is going to happen without any problem in between. I'm not looking anywhere, no delays, no denies. I'm just going to the next bar. And that's kind of how life is. It's like you have to grab onto one bar, have that free fall where you don't know what's going on in between. And then you grab the next one. And then the next, I was thinking, I said, from the next bar to the next bar, there might be the free fall opportunity may be even longer where you can't see anything, where it's like, woo, we're just, woo, flying in the air, what's next? And then we grab onto that next bar. And we just have to know that in between, it's all working for our favor. It's all working for our good. We just have to stay the course.
Yes.
Stay the course.
And it's the faith.
Yes, it is.
It's the faith. It's having the faith in it and knowing that, you're a good person. You're doing the right things.
Yeah.
You're manifesting things.
That's right.
You're giving your gratitude and you're doing, again, it's treating people the right way. It's treating people the way you want to be treated.
Yes.
And I always, when I'm coaching agents too, I'll say, if they get frustrated with a client or something else, and I always say, well, what if this was your grandma? Like, would you treat her any different? Yeah. Can your grandma be a pain in the neck? Probably.
Yes.
Right? Like,
yeah.
Probably.
That's right.
But at the same point, you got to treat her right.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like,
That's right.
And again, I've had clients that were tough. They were tough to deal with. Mm-hmm. But hey, I smile.
Yeah.
I wave. I treat them the same way as everybody else.
That's right.
And I'm like, get out of here.
It's a fabulous customer service. It's like people don't know what you're thinking. You don't have to say it. You just have to stay the course of being professional.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that way they'll refer you. Even if they don't do business with you, they will refer you.
Yep. No, it's so big in our industry. It's so big, and it's part of your networking. It's part of all those things that you've been talking about today. And let's say this, and we got about 3 minutes left, but let's say this: if you had to start over today in real estate, mm-hmm. how would you grow your business? Like, well, how would you go after this? Knowing what you know now, how would you try to grow your business?
So I would probably look at it more long term. A little less just case by case basis. I would look at it more long term.
Okay.
I would look at it more like the EXP vision. Honestly, I would look at it as if, where am I going with this business? What can it do for me more long term versus just the boutique? I was doing mortgages that was successful. Then I switched to real estate, and I thought real estate was the same thing as a loan officer, and it's not. It's in the same family, but it's not the same thing.
Not the same thing.
Yeah, not the same thing. And so I would look at it from a very large plate of where do I want to take my business long term, and I would approach it that way. Yeah.
Okay.
And say I want to network with the right people, get in the right rooms. I want to really stay connected. I want to really stay connected because that's a big thing. You don't want to get lost in the forest. You want to stay real connected. And I would also look at it differently from making sure that I'm really keeping in touch with all of my clients. I'm really keeping those, not letting stuff fall out of the basket. Like, going back and grabbing those emails and going back and grabbing those numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you can really grow if you just pay attention to keeping what you've got in the basket.
It's crazy, right? How you can grow that, right? And it's seed time and harvest.
Yes.
Right. And again, it's planting those seeds. It's watering your grass. The grass, people will say, and everybody's heard this one, the grass is always greener, but the grass is always greener where you water it.
That's right.
Right. And if you water it and take care of it and do the right things with it, where you're at is the spot you want to be.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the grass is always greener on your own side if you water your grass.
Exactly. You water and take care and seed and
That's
harvest your grass, it'll be nice and green. But yeah, as we wrap up here, Natalie, I'm super happy that you were able to join this morning. And
Thank you for having me. This has been
yeah,
great.
absolutely.
Yeah,
I am
great.
excited to have you as a business partner.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm excited
about it.
for EXP Elite Atlanta.
Yeah, we're making it happen.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we
Super excited about it. So, guys, I appreciate the time and everything today. Join us every Friday at 7:30 live, or you can download the podcast. Find the podcast where you find podcasts, the Elite Real Estate Podcast, and we will talk to you all next Friday.